Welcome back. So, today we're going to talk about visual rhythm. So, what is it and how do we create it? So, rhythm, what is it? Rhythm is a strong, regular, repeated pattern of movement or sound. And so, with this example below, we're going to listen to a quick rhythm from a song created through a series of beats. And you can probably hear the rhythm starting to repeat. So the artist is using a series of beats to create that pattern, that rhythm, right? So as mentioned before, rhythm is most commonly thought of when we're talking about music and sound, but it's also really, really important when you're talking about visual art as well. So when thinking about rhythm, think about the repetition of notes in music, so the beats, as the repetition of a color or a shape in artwork, right? So hearing a repeating beat in music and seeing the repetition of colors, shapes, and form in an art piece both work to engage our senses, even if we don't know it. Through both art and music, a feeling of predictability and order is created through that rhythm. So down here on the bottom, you're going to see a number of examples that are creating that visual repetition, that visual rhythm. On the left, we have the clocks that are all lined up. So it's repeating that shape element. In this image right here of the leaf, we have a repetition of line. So you're seeing that line repeated over and over and over again. We have color, and then again, shape over here on the far right with all of these rectangles that keep popping up. So you can control that repetition and that rhythm through your elements of art. So if you're repeating a certain color, a certain shape, a certain line. So when we're talking about visual rhythm, it's another way to refer to it is a visual beat. So by repeating colors, lines, and shapes along with other elements of art, we can create that look and feel of movement. This rhythm is often achieved through the careful placement of repeated components, which invite the viewer's eye to jump rapidly or glide smoothly from one to the next. So again, by repeating colors, lines, and shapes. So instead of beats in music, it's colors, lines, and shapes. You're repeating those elements to be able to create that visual rhythm. Take a look at these three examples right here. Pick an image above and share what the artist repeated to create their visual rhythm. As an example, over here on the right side, if you selected this one, you might have said that the artist repeated created their visual rhythm by repeating a circle, so a shape over and over again. If you pick the one in the middle, it's the same thing. They're repeating that square, but they're kind of pivoting it, and they're shifting it to kind of create that movement to give the illusion that it's turning. The one all the way on the left, they're repeating that same brushstroke, but they're also repeating the same probably 7 colors over and over and over again. So by controlling the color, the shape, the line, and other elements of art, they're creating a pattern, a visual repetition, a rhythm. And you can see this in many pieces of artwork. If it's and it may be a little less obvious, but you can still pick up on it. So we have Tara Donovan's piece over here on the left. We have Andy Warhol's in the middle, and we have Rene Magritte's over here on the right. So if you take a quick look at Rene Magritte's over here on the right, where are you noticing repetition? What is the artist repeating over and over and over again in this piece of artwork? And how about these two? On the left, we have Tara Donovan's assembled sculpture, and on the right, we have Angie McMonagle's photography. So both of these images are pretty much operating with a grayscale. So they're using black, white, and gray. They are also repeating a shape. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause and I want you to choose an adjective to describe Donovan's piece right here. So some of you may have gone with or compared it to a cloud, more cloud-like, heavenly, soft, bubbly, all of those things totally work. And on the right, I want you to try again with this one. Choose an adjective to describe this piece. So some of you guys might have said harsh, angular, geometric, dark, square, any of the above. So both of these have a lot of similarities, and they're both created through repetition or repeating of different elements of art, but they're giving off a totally different vibe, right? So the decisions that the artists make can actually control how our eyes move through the piece and how we respond to it and how we feel about it. The one on the left feels a lot more soft, and the one on the right feels a lot more harsh and jagged, right? So in summary, visual rhythm is created through the repetition of the elements of art. So color, shape, line, form. And if we're looking at the example we looked at the beginning, we're seeing that repetition through shape in this example, and that shape just happens to be a square that the artist keeps turning. Visual rhythm can create the look and feel of movement and even control how the viewer sees and feels towards the piece. And we saw that below in the photo and in the sculpture. And fun fact about that sculpture, it's actually entirely made just out of styrofoam cups and hot glue gun. And they're really big. Like, they are huge, taking up the whole ceiling. There's one at the MFA in Boston, and it is really cool to see up close. So in this project, everybody is going to be responsible for creating a sculpture using the repetition technique to be able to create that visual rhythm. So we are going to be doing that in the next lesson and looking at a few more examples. So just make sure that we are ready to go and paying attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.